And the gentlelady yields back chair. Thanks, the gentlelady. The gentlelady from Indiana is recognized for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to Dr. Foxx, Chairwoman Foxx, and the ranking member for coming before the Rules Committee. As a member of the Education and Workforce Committee, I'm certainly happy to have considered this and many other issues this Congress. As you know, the committee did pass the Protection of Women and Girls Sports Act in an effort to protect Title IX, which the Department of Education has failed to do. As a parent of 2 female student athletes, I do have a vested interest in this issue. I had the opportunity to speak with Riley Gaines on her personal experience competing against a biological male, as well as the NCAA allowing Leah Thomas full access to female locker rooms without the female swimmer's consent. And when Secretary Cardona came before our committee to testify, you might remember that I asked him a question requiring women to undress in front of Leah Thomas and allowing Leah to undress in front of them. I asked the Secretary if he believed that constituted sexual harassment, and his answer was yes. I was surprised that he answered it that way, but as the questioning went on, he realized where I was going with that. I said if Leah Thomas identified it as a male, would requiring female swimmers to dress with him have constituted sexual harassment? And he said, yes. So I find it odd that our colleagues on the other side of the aisle are so intent on opposing what we're simply asking, which is to protect the integrity of women's sports for biological women and to protect women from having men in their locker rooms. And as parents of 2 daughters who were swimmers, this is an issue that is something that mothers and parents across the country, unfortunately, are having to deal with, and the Biden administration has just simply doubled down on it. So to Chairwoman Foxx, I want to touch a little bit about, there was a recent Supreme Court decision in the Loper-Bright case overturning Chevron deference. Do you think that this rule should be overturned by the courts?
Oh, absolutely. And we already have split decisions on the part of the courts on this issue. And we've got 2 different court cases, and I want to make sure I stay on the right one. But yes, I think that it could be overturned by the courts. And again, we've got court precedent where 2 courts, or 1 court said, here we go, a split among federal courts. In January of last year, the 11th Circuit held that a school district's policy requiring people to use the bathroom that corresponds with the student's biological sex is allowed under Title IX. In addition, the first 2 court cases that have been handed down in cases challenging this regulation have argued that the regulation's an overreach and an abuse of power. So the argument that with this rule, the Biden administration is simply doing what courts have said must be done when they're talking about Bostock in that case, the opposite is true. The Supreme Court explicitly warned against applying its Bostock ruling to Title IX, but the Biden administration is ignoring that warning.
Chairwoman Foxx, do you think Congress intended Title IX to protect the rights of boys to shower with girls?
Absolutely not.
And this action by the Biden administration, does it not invent such a right? For more than 50 years after Title IX's enactment, it seems like this is that type of overreach, that it codifies, if you will, that the Biden administration believes that boys do have a right to shower with girls.
I think that's absolutely true. Again, as I said in my earlier comment, Title IX was designed to protect women, give them equal opportunity, and this is wiping it out. And it's really a puzzle to me as to why the Democrat Party has decided to wipe out women.
Mr. Scott, you have made, you received some questions from my colleague, Mr. Norman, and He asked if you believe there are differences between men and women, and you said yes. You do believe there are differences between men and women.
Yes.
Yes. So I just want to ask you, and this is in all seriousness, how do you define a woman? What is a woman?
Well, how do I define a woman?
How would you define a woman?
If you're looking for, you mentioned some court cases, the Bostock.
Well, I didn't ask about the court cases. Before you get to the court cases, what is a woman?
You have men, you have women. I mean, if you don't know, I can't help you.
Well, I know. It's a biological human female. I was asking if you know.
Well, what's a female?
Well, a female is...
Well, in the months following the Bostock decision, 2 appellate courts have reached the same conclusion, citing that case in their holdings that Title IX protects transgender students from discrimination on the basis of gender identity. I think that's the important, if you're talking about court cases, I think that's the important aspect.
Is a man that identifies as a female a woman?
I'd say there's transgender.
If a man identifies as a female, is that a woman?
I think it's a transgender woman.
Is it a woman? Is it a biological human female?
I don't know what difference that makes.
Chairwoman Foxx, would you care to answer?
I believe that a woman has distinct chromosomes, a man has distinct chromosomes, and that's how you distinguish between a man and a woman. And I think we know what women are and what men are based on their chromosomes.
It's kind of hard to believe that we have to have this conversation in the halls of Congress about what is a woman, and there are differences between men and women, and we do know there are differences between men and women, and we know it is particularly evident in the playing of sports. And Mr. Norman and others have referenced some of the injuries that have happened to female athletes in competing against biological males. So, Chairwoman Foxx, I just want to thank you for your leadership on this issue and your strong stance to protect women and girls' sports and women and girls in their private spaces. Thank you, and I yield back.
Thank you.